This is The Clash, where the real world clashes with a true Christian worldview. Join former professional wrestler Chris Whaley, known as the Masked Saint, who is an author, pastor, and teacher that brings his wrestling skills into the squared circle and tackles real-life issues. Along with Jeff Dixon, best-selling author, internationally known teacher, leader, and pastor who is not afraid to tackle the tough issues of the world we live in. Together they form a tag team of wisdom in The Clash.
Hi, welcome to The Clash, where we take a Christian worldview and allow it to clash into the culture around us. And when we're done, hopefully we come up with something that's entertaining, meaningful, and something that maybe will help you grow or challenge you just a little bit. I'm Jeff Dixon. I'm joined by the saint himself, Chris Whaley. Hey, Chris.
Jeff, I got to tell you, man, you do an awesome job on the openings. You really,
That's my favorite part of the show.
I'm always excited when you get going, man. I mean, you do a great job. You do.
Well, I'm excited about today because I know what we're talking about, and maybe our audience doesn't yet.
No.
But some people believe that movies, motion pictures, are the devil's playground. And other people say that they're a mission field with surround sound. At the end of the day, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things to do, movies.
Right. And that was one of my questions. I was going to say, Jeff, do you like movies?
I do. I love movies.
I do too.
I'd rather watch a movie than a TV show or a TV series.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you do as well.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about that right after this break, and we're going to kind of jump into the topic of movies. Big topic. We're going to tackle it from a Christian perspective and see what we come up with.
Okay.
All right, stay put.
Hey, I'm Chris Whaley. I went from professional wrestling for 10 years, wrestling some of the biggest names in the business, 4 world champions. And I left the wrestling world to become a pastor. And I wrote a book about that transition because when I became a pastor, I found out that there were some people being abused and people being mistreated. And I ended up dealing with some people more as a professional wrestler than I did as a pastor. And I wrote a book about that transition called The Masked Saint. And it's available along with my other book, which is Harold's Heavenly Christmas. If you like Christmas stories, you're going to love this one, and one day it's going to be a movie. And then my last book is Mr. President. Has 2 lives, a comedian and the world heavyweight wrestling champion. And it is a great read.
Today we're talking about movies. I'm excited about that because, again, as we said before we went to the break, I love movies. And I thought, I was thinking about why do I like movies so much? And I think there's something about just getting immersed and seeing a story that kind of draws you in. I mean, Jesus used stories all the time.
Yeah.
So in some ways, movies are some of our modern day parables. In some ways, they could be.
For me, movies are a great escape. Because you know, and I know, as pastors, we deal with a lot of stress.
Sure.
Do we not?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, our life is full of stress. And when you deal with stress so much, and the people listening, my goodness, they're, working jobs and they're paying bills and, raising kids and doing all that kind of stuff. It's a stressful world out there. Plus, we drive on I-4 every day, too. So
that's here in Central Florida.
But it's just great to have an escape. And movies, I mean, I can lose myself in a movie and, that's an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours in a movie that...
Unless it's a Marvel film.
Yeah, unless it's Marvel.
And it runs 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Oh, yeah. Or the new Mission Impossible.
That clock about 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah, about 3 hours.
Oh, my goodness and all. What is it about movies that you like so much?
I like a variety of movies, but I like the fact that movies do the same thing. They give you an escape, but they immerse you in a story. And, depending, I guess, on your mood, you get to choose the kind of movie. So it can be a comedy, it can be an action-adventure movie, it can be full of drama, it can be have a little bit of that romance in it. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that you can pick and choose from when it comes to movies.
And today, you can go to a movie. I love going to the movie theater because now they got recliners, Jeff. They got recliners, and they have restaurants
Yeah.
at the movie theater. And I mean, I could sit in that recliner, have a soda, popcorn.
Yeah.
Man, it's pretty awesome.
It is.
Awesome.
Now, it is a high dollar outing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, movies gotten pretty expensive. But through history, though, depending on what era you were born in, and depending on really what kind of upbringing you got, it hasn't always been widely accepted that Christians should go to movies.
Oh no.
Matter of fact, I mean, some Christians and some Christians today are still very anti-movie, anti-entertainment.
Right.
Where does that come from?
Well, that's the way it was when I was a kid. It was just looked down on. I mean, you just didn't go to movies because the morality thing, I think the morality thing started changing when we were kids, up to a point, the 30s and 40s and the 50s. Morality was a big deal. There were lines that they didn't cross. But when it got to the 60s, brother, they started crossing some lines.
Well, they started crossing some lines in the motion picture industry as it continued to evolve.
Yeah.
Then they started tagging it with the rating system. And by giving it a certain rating then, that would dictate what lines they could cross, how much further they could go. And then that kind of took the regulator off, and so they could make whatever film they wanted. They would come back then and give it that rating, and that rating is what it went to the theaters with.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about when we were kids, Jeff. What movies that just really stand out when you were a kid? I mean, I've got some of mine down.
Okay.
So.
Well, I remember as a young kid, Disney movies were always
They're on my list.
The thing to see, and whatever the new release, and there was usually one about one a summer, maybe during the holidays one that would come out, and by the time I was growing up, they were really the live action kind of films. So I have memories of the Love Bug series.
Oh yeah.
The Dean Jones films where he was always like the same character in a different film, but he was chasing that darn cat.
Yeah.
Or
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller. See, now Old Yeller, I don't remember Old Yeller as a kid.
Yeah.
I remember that as an adult.
Yeah.
But I just remember that well, I don't want to tell what happened to Old Yeller because
I don't want to
somebody
spoil
might not
it.
have seen it. Be a spoiler.
Yeah. Flubber. Remember?
I remember that.
Oh yeah. Love Flubber.
And they were great fun. So I mean, I remember Disney movies as a kid.
Yeah.
And when I was a young kid, and I think that's about all of. I mean, there wasn't that big a selection because there wasn't. When I was a kid, there wasn't even multiplexes. I mean, there was like a theater and had one movie in it.
Sometimes a double feature.
Maybe a double feature.
Yeah.
And then there were some drive-ins. I do remember some family nights where we'd go to the drive-in theater and take dinner in with us and watch. And inevitably, if we were going to the drive-in, it would rain.
Yep. And get
So
eaten
you
up by
have to watch through the. We have to watch through the windshield with all the holes on it.
Fog up. Yeah. And then the mosquitoes too.
Oh,
we live
always.
in Florida, so
Always, man.
the mosquitoes. Well, I was thinking, just some things that came to mind. I mean, the one big one is the Ten Commandments. You remember going to see? I went to see the Ten Commandments at a drive-in.
Wow.
And it was like, what? It's 4 hours long.
Yeah, that was really. If they were doing it again, they ought to make 5 commandments at a time. Because that way you can come back for the. It's a built-in sequel, right? You're going to come back to see the rest of it.
Yeah. The Elvis movies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, love the Elvis. Abbott and Costello.
Now see, I don't remember them in the theater. I remember them later.
Oh man, Abbott and Costello. I love the horror films, and especially the old ones that of course you see those on TV. The Frankenstein, Dracula, Werewolf, and the Don Knotts movies. When they came out, he made about 5, I think. And of course, John Wayne.
Yeah.
I love the John Wayne.
Like John Wayne movies. Yeah.
Did I miss any?
No. Well, no. I mean, as a kid, I remember some of those, and then we weren't in my household. We weren't real big movie goers as a kid growing up. So again, it had to be a Disney film or maybe a John Wayne film.
Yeah.
I mean, I can vividly remember seeing True Grit.
Oh yeah.
I saw that at a drive-in.
Yeah.
And the whole family went to that. I mean, that was a big big movie to see, and so it's still one of my all-time favorites to this day. Probably because it's John Wayne, but also because we went with my family. You know, I remember though that as I became a teenager, movies then became much more a part of my life, a part more of my social life, a part of my, you know, things to do list.
Right.
And matter of fact, I remember vividly when Jaws came out.
Oh boy. Yeah.
The lines that wrapped around the theater. That's 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Jaws came out, and that changed everything.
I haven't been in salt water since.
Some people haven't taken a bath since. Yeah. So, but I mean, Jaws was absolutely terrifying and absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
To see, and so I remember vividly seeing that one. And then beyond that, then as I got older, I mean, I would go to movies all the time, every weekend.
You know, one of my favorite movie stars, only because I went to college in South Florida in West Palm Beach, was Burt Reynolds.
Oh, sure.
And then, you know, Burt Reynolds was from West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Played football for Florida State. You know, he was a Florida boy. And man, I love the Smokey and the Bandit. And then I have a very good friend that was in all of the Smokey and the Bandit movies. He was in 2 other Burt Reynolds movies. So having somebody that was on the inside, that was pretty special too. But I just thought old Burt really knew where to go with the movies, you know, because they were all blockbusters.
Yeah, they were.
You know, he was like the #1 box office draw in those days. You know, today we have so many genres of movies, and I wrote some of, you know, you got Christian movies, you got comedies, you got drama, you got sports movies, you got mystery movies, sci-fi, war movies, Christmas movies, and all like that. So I don't know which direction you want to go, Jeff. I don't want to take all the time up here.
No, I think I like action movies. I like action adventure movies. I like comedies.
Yeah.
Those two are probably my favorites. And I like a variety of stuff. I mean, and you know, I have been criticized before because it's been said that I would watch anything, junk or not, I would watch it. And I think maybe as we kind of chase rabbits here and kind of go down the rabbit hole with movies, you know, you're as a pastor. You've had to give people wise counsel. I have to do the same kind of thing. I mean, how do you help people navigate, you know, what they should see or not see, or how do they make those decisions? Because we don't have I would never tell anybody to go see something or not see something. And I usually don't try to recommend stuff. But I mean, how, you know, what is your filter as far as, you know, what are you going to go see in the theaters? What are you going to give up your money to go see? How do you work that decision out as a follower?
Yeah, I try to find out what's, you know, in the movie before I go.
So discernment?
Discernment. Discernment. Yeah. There you go. Of course, if it's big on sex scenes and stuff, it's not going to happen.
Sure.
You know, I'm a little bit different than other people. If it's got violence in it, I mean, we live in a violent world.
Sure.
I mean, have you read the Bible?
Right.
You know, where God tells them to go in and utterly wipe everybody out. You know, so don't sit there and be pious with me and say, you know, the violent stuff. But I think it's up. And of course, you know, if you got children, you're taking children to the movie. One of my son-in-laws, you know, he won't let his kids watch anything until he watches it, make sure it's okay, you know, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. What about you?
I think I'm the same way. I mean, I'll take a look at, you know, I don't really pay much attention to the rating as much as what is the film about, you know. And usually by the time you figure out what the film's about, you can almost guess what it's going to be rated. And so I try to, you know, be some, you know, discerning when it comes to, am I going to go and am I going to spend 2 hours, invest 2 hours in the story? I am not a fan of independent films, indie films, or things. Indiana Jones films I'll go to. Indie films, you know, man, I can think maybe twice in my life that I plunked down money to see an independent film. Not that they're a bad film, but one of the other tools I use is, you know, is there going to be return on my investment? In other words, am I pretty well going to like what I go to see? That has the tendency to be a a certain star that's in it, a genre, if it's a series, is it a sequel, is it brand new? How does that look? So, I mean, I try to make decisions based on that. And then it's a decision, is my family going or am I just going? Because again, that's going to change, because again, then you're thinking about everybody's interest and stuff like that too. So I guess I put on that discernment lens a lot and decide what's going to be there. So as you're sitting there though, do you ever find yourself sitting in a movie and think to yourself, man, that just really cuts against what I believe as a Christian. You sit there and make that moment where you go, yeah, I just disagree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that sense, sometimes a movie will make you think.
Yeah.
And kind of forces you into that. Okay, how do I evaluate this based on my faith and my view of life? Which is not a bad thing.
Very often I get invited to go to a church where they show the movie, The Masked Saint. They show the movie, and then afterwards, they can ask me questions and all. And I literally spend the day at that church. And I've had a couple of pastors that said, "Well, you're pretty special because I mean, we don't do this very often. Have a movie here. Matter of fact, I don't go to a movie if it's not if it's over PG. I just don't go to a movie." And I never told them that The Masked Saint's rated PG-13.
Of course it is.
Because of
there's violence in it. Yeah.
Violence in it and all. So I would be honest with you and tell you there's not very many movies that I have seen that didn't make me think about a lot of different stuff. So, and I'm sure you're the same way.
Well, I am, and I think that sometimes, especially, I was very focused on this when I used to do student ministry. I found that films were a great way to open up conversations about faith because if a movie was popular, it was communicating certain things and certain truths, and as people would watch it, again, the idea, how it collides with your faith really does come into play. But if it's a popular movie, it always opened the door for great conversations with teenagers, great conversations with your kids, great conversations with others about, what did we just see? Strengths, weaknesses. I mean, that doesn't mean that the movie's good or bad. It's just, what did you like about it? What did you see as a weakness? Did they have to do it? And sometimes I watch things in films and go, they didn't have to put that there. And other times, you say, okay, I get it. I get what they're doing and how they're trying to tell a story. And again, it's fascinating to watch. But I also think in those environments, so they can also be very good conversation starters for faith. And I think if a movie is controversial, I think that the church really does have a responsibility to speak into it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we are supposed to be sources of truth and help people process what it is that they're hearing and saying. Think back. What is the most controversial film that has come out that just immediately pops in your mind through your years in the pastorate and stuff?
For me?
Well, no, maybe not for you, but just for people in general that you had to navigate.
Yeah, I was amazed, Jeff, at the controversy of the Harry Potter movies.
You
remember those?
I do remember that. Why?
I mean, parents that I was at my last church. We had a school that met on campus at that church, and it wasn't a Christian school. They were in between buildings, and they were using our building until theirs was complete. And they had a book fair, and several of the parents came to me. They're selling Harry Potter books, and I just don't think that's right here at our church. And was that a big issue with you, the Harry Potter movie?
No, matter of fact, they weren't. I actually, when the Harry Potter craze hit, I actually read the first couple books just to find out what was going on. Because the idea was, well, it opens up the door for kids to get involved in witchcraft. It really didn't. Again, I've heard the arguments, and so that maybe that's a different show altogether.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of our audience right now.
But I actually look forward to the Harry Potter films because my middle child, that was one of the things that we actually did together every time a Harry Potter film came out. So I saw the whole series at some point. Now, did I enjoy the series? No. I enjoyed seeing the movies with my daughter. those are where my memories are. Always opened up conversation about, what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like. Couldn't tell you. I mean, I couldn't even tell you the titles of the movies anymore. But yeah, I saw them all, endured them all.
You remember when Passion of the Christ came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Boy, oh boy. Now, it blew up a lot of liberal TV shows. And I don't know why, but my goodness, that was an unbelievable movie. I mean, one of my favorites that I've got on here as far as Christian movies was King of Kings. I love that movie. But my goodness, Passion of the Christ, I can only see that one time.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, that was. I mean,
very graphic.
See what our Lord went through.
Yeah, I mean, of course, and that's one of those things too, where I think that as a follower, I always, again, I don't recommend or not recommend films. I don't do that. But if you're prone and you really want to connect with how violent it was, Mel Gibson did a fantastic job in that film of showing how violent the cross was and how painful it was. It'll break your heart.
Yeah,
break your heart to watch it. I remember vividly seeing it. Saw it a couple times.
And I'm kind of jealous because Jeff has actually met Mel Gibson.
No doubt about it. We're tight. I'm over here, he's over here, but we're tight. We're just as tight as you can be. I remember when The Exorcist came out.
Oh, boy. I was in college.
People were going insane when The Exorcist came out.
Yeah.
And how horrifying it was, and how all of a sudden it was like we're opening the gates to demonic possession and things like that.
Yeah.
Did you ever see it? Did you ever see it? You don't have to admit it.
I went when I was in college. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to see it, and I'll never forget. Dr. Moody and two of the professors from Palm Beach, Atlanta.
Were there?
They kind of did a podcast before it was ever even popular, because they went to see it, and then they did this episode that went out on cassette tape of what they thought about The Exorcist, from a Christian perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to see it, and it was hard to sleep that night.
I think, I thought it was dumb. I mean, I process that kind of stuff, and I guess I'm just at a point in my faith, and have kind of always had that attitude in faith where that evil always will be defeated by good, and especially when you get in that battle of satanic realm and stuff like that. I mean, you know what? I mean, it was Hollywood. It was gross.
Very Hollywood.
It was
Yeah.
I remember walking out going, well, this is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But, I don't remember losing sleep, but I mean, I've seen some horror films though that are troubling.
Yeah.
I think the most troubling films are psychological kind of horror films. They're the other ones that play in your head a little bit and kind of get you, get you going. And you gotta be wise. You gotta know yourself pretty well to get in there.
I know we're getting short on time, and I gotta ask you this before we, get out of here. Christian films today. Of course, you have the Kendricks brothers that put up about one movie a year or every 2 years and all. And I'm not really a Kendricks brother fan. I hope I don't break your heart. The reason is they're all the same.
All the same movie.
All the same
all
movie.
The same movie.
They just change names and keep a lot of the same people, but it's basically the same movie over and over again.
And in all their movies too, the pattern is the same. Men are idiots. They're going to screw things up.
Yep.
The wife's going to pray them back to Christ.
Yep.
And then the movie's going to end.
And everything's going to be okay.
And so we dress them as policemen, we dress them as firemen, we dress them as coaches, we dress them. I mean, it is kind of the same movie. And again, I'm kind of with you. I'm not a fan of Christian films.
Really?
I'm not. My favorite of all time is The Masked Saint. And I think I told you the night that it won the award. That is the best Christian film I've ever seen. But I did sit through the other films that night.
Yeah.
And thought to myself, at this never-ending event, I thought, oh my gosh, if The Masked Saint doesn't win, that means that one of these turkeys is going to win, and I can't handle that. So I was thrilled to death that the film won that night, and I really enjoyed it because I'm not. Again, I think, and that's a great disappointment for me though, because I think Christians should be the best storytellers out there.
Yeah,
and we're not in that arena. We're just not. No. And I think there is a day that we'll have to, kind of stand before Jesus, and he's going to ask the question, well, why didn't you figure out a way to tell those stories in that environment?
How about the new Chosen movies?
Well, yeah, but I think those are different, though. I see. I think Chosen falls into a niche all its own because, I mean, basically they're taking the life of Christ, which is scriptural. They're adding a little bit of sanctified imagination to it, and for the most part, you've got an hour episode, sometimes a 90-minute episode, and they have found the market in theatrical releases before they release them to streaming.
Big time.
I think that's a creative marketing thing to do.
Oh yeah.
And because of Dallas Jenkins and the work that he's done, I mean, it's hard to screw up the story of Jesus. And so, so from the standpoint of I don't really think of it as a film. I don't really think of it as a motion picture as much as a series. And sometimes I like the slant they take on it. I like the way that they create to tell a story. Other times, I'm not so moved yet. Even this new season. As I've been watching this new season, I'm not enthralled with the new season. I mean, I know what's going to happen. I've read the book. I like the story. Love the characters. Kind of I like the way it flows. For me, this season hasn't been as good as some of the previous seasons. But doesn't mean I'm going to quit watching it.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I didn't pay to see it in the theater.
Okay, man. Well, we haven't even touched the surface on this subject.
We have not. But we may have touched the subject enough where the people who are watching this are going, you guys just need to close your mouth because I just disagree with you on just about everything you said.
Yep.
If you haven't agreed with us, though, you know what? That's okay.
Send us an email.
Send us an email. Let us know. We'll probably come back and tackle this subject again. Because there's a world of movies out there that I just love that we need to talk about.
Yeah. Jeff gets more emails, so send them to me.
Send them to Chris. Remember, Chris is the one you want to complain to. If it's a fan letter, send it to me. If you want to complain, send it to Chris. He'll put on the mask and come visit you. How about that?
We better go to a commercial?
Let's go to a commercial.
All right.
Chris, I was just thinking while we take a break here in the show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could go somewhere and shop and get high quality merchandise that would have a lasting impact? Wouldn't that be good?
I think that would be absolutely awesome.
Well, I've got a suggestion for you because what is your favorite saying?
Don't tap out.
Look at that. How about a Don't Tap Out
smokes.
t-shirt? And look at the logo on the back.
What's on the back? The Clash.
That's one of my favorite shows.
It's on my top list too.
And people could go and buy this from our store. Now you say, how do you get to the store? Well, right now there's a QR code on the screen. If they use that QR code, they can go and they can buy, name something. We'll see if they can buy it there. What do you want to buy?
Probably, I want to get a long sleeve hoodie.
You know what? You can get a long sleeve hoodie there.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what else? If you had a baby tomorrow, you could get Clash baby gear at that same store. Yep, you can get that. All of it's available at the Clash store. So if you haven't been to the Clash store, you're one of the few people in America that hasn't been there yet.
Yeah.
And so check it out. Buy our stuff. It makes us money. It makes us happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to the Clash store. Well, this has been fun. I hope over the last few minutes you guys have enjoyed hearing us kind of wander our way through a conversation about movies, and it's been helpful to me. Hopefully, it has been to you. But we're going to have to be done with this episode.
Yeah, and I'm kind of sad too, Jeff. What would really be great is if we come up with a movie for the Clash. What would you think about that? A movie for the Clash?
A feature film.
A feature film.
I think it'd be awesome.
I think it would be awesome.
What would it be about?
I don't know. We'd have to work on that. And the possibilities are probably slim and none.
Probably.
But it was good to think about it.
It'd be fun.
But we brought a lot of stuff to the surface about movies. And, during that time, it might have even convicted some of you about what you've been to see. I don't know. I doubt that. But anyway, I hope it gave you a lot to think about. We love doing this. And I hope you have a great week. And remember, don't tap out.